There you go. Stretch the legs. How are we feeling? You feeling good? Everybody's like, yeah. Good. Well, don't be gone too long. You do not want to miss our next speaker here. Good. Well, while you're stretching there, is anybody in here a parent, by show of hands? A working parent, right? Could you imagine starting your business, being a stay-at-home parent with 2 kids under 2? Like seriously, I have 2 daughters. I have a 5 and a 2-year-old. And trying to get anything done while they are home is impossible. Can you relate to that? Exactly. So our next speaker, that's what she did. She started her business. She was a stay-at-home mom, started her business when her kids were 6 months and I think 2 years old. Right at her kitchen table, started doing it, had no background whatsoever in sales, in social media, in network marketing. She just saw an opportunity and jumped right in. And what she did was she built an online business of over 70,000 followers. I just slipped. She was the top of her company for the past 4 years. She is a CEO award recipient for her company. She's a member of her company's council advisory board. She spoke at numerous events, leaderships, summits for her company. She was just talking to her backstage and she said she flies all over doing all the talks for the leadership of her company, for the teams. She's just done so much for her company. And not only that, she has 2 young boys and she runs a weekly podcast. Not like she has any time, not needs to do anything else, but she runs a weekly podcast called Women Inspiring Women. So if you haven't checked it out yet, make sure you do. She is a fantastic lady. She has such a warm smile. I'm excited to bring her to the stage. So put your hands together. Let's give a warm welcome for Melanie Mitro. Yay! There you go, girl. Go rock it.
Thanks. Well, good morning, everybody. How are we doing? Good? All right. I'm excited. I'm really excited to be here. Like she said, I spoke at a lot of events before, and this is my jam. Training is the thing that I love to do the most. So today, I am going to be talking to you about Instagram and how to rock your business on Instagram. So by a show of hands, how many of you use Facebook as your primary social media? Facebook users? All right. Now, how many of you use Instagram for your business? Raise your hand. All right. So I'm going to teach you guys a lot of things today. This could legit be like an 8-hour training. So we're going to go through this fast, but I want to drop some of the most important nuggets of information that have really helped me to build my following. So what are we going to learn today? So today we are going to talk about why is Instagram important for your business. We're going to go over some of the basics because your profile and your bio are really important. It's something that people are going to make a decision within the first 5 to 7 seconds of visiting your profile as to whether or not they're going to follow you. We are going to talk about creating a marketing plan because that is also my jam. I feel like we don't want to just be throwing darts at a dartboard hoping that our content is going to reach the right people. We want to make sure that our message is getting to the right people at the right time. We don't want to grow our account with fake followers, so we are going to talk about getting the people that are in our niche onto our pages so we can engage with them. Talk about some visual tips, engagement, and we'll close it out with hashtags. Sound like a plan? All right, let's do this. So evolution of social media. For me personally, I'll give you a little backstory. 7 years ago is when I opened the doors to my network marketing business, and I started on my personal Facebook page. I had less than 100 followers, right? Less than 100 friends on Facebook. I didn't even have an Instagram account. I opened an Instagram account because that's what my upline told me that I should do. And then I was like, wow, this makes my photos look really cool. I like the filters, so I think I'll use Instagram, save that photo, and then put it on my Facebook page. And that was really when I started using Instagram. So I started with nothing. I started with zero. And over the past 7 years, I actually built my entire business to where it is today on my personal Facebook page. But in this process of the past couple of years, I've noticed that what was getting a lot of traction and engagement originally was not anymore. I started noticing that things were shifting. I also noticed that big corporations, especially the company that I work with too, they were starting to come into my space. And so they were running infomercials and commercials, and they were doing paid advertisements, and all of a sudden now there's ads popping up in my Facebook newsfeed, and everybody is kind of competing in the same space. Do you guys notice that too? And so social got a little noisy. And for me, I started to see this trend of this younger generation that was coming in and was rocking Instagram, and they were having really fast success. And so instead of me kind of saying like, I know it all, I've been successful in the Facebook space, I don't care about this stuff, I said, I better lean in and I better get with the program or I'm gonna get left in the dust. And so for about the past 18 months now, I've really made this shift to where, yes, I still use my Facebook page, but I will tell you that 95% of my business now comes from Instagram and Instagram stories. Yes, like tremendous shift. So definitely something you do not want to ignore. So that's what we're going to talk about today. The first thing is your Instagram profile. So as I was doing my own research, right, Instagram has become, it's kind of like our website. I have a blog that I used to direct everybody to. So when they would ask me for more information, I would send them to my blog. Now, that's not working as well as it used to, especially on my Facebook. So what do? I've got to find a way to capture people's attention in 5 to 7 seconds. That's what you have. Your Instagram bio is literally the modern, like our millennial generation search engine. When they want to find an outfit to wear on their family vacation, they're going to go to Instagram. When they want to look up a brand, they're going to look at it on Instagram, where we used to go to Facebook or we used to go to Pinterest. I know those are still, viable, but this is where our younger generation is going. I think the statistics were 50 to 65% of people ages 29 to 35, that's where they spend their time is on Instagram, all right? So what we want to do is when people come to our page, our goal is to take them from visitors to followers within 5 to 7 seconds, all right? So what do we need to do? First thing first is we've got to create our bio. These are a couple of tips to help you do that. First thing is your image. So you're a brand and you're looking to build a business. So you want to make sure that your image is going to represent your brand. I'm a public figure, so I want my profile photo to be me. You can go right now, look at your profile, and if it's a picture of your dog, your cat, your best friend and you in a picture, a family photo, you want to change that. Because when people come to your page, they want to see your face. Now, you don't have to have a professional photo ready to go. Go stand outside in the nice warm sunlight, do your makeup a little bit, right? Do your hair, and just take a great photo. That can be your profile photo. If you're a brand or a product, maybe you want your logo to be what people see. So I have a friend that owns the company Sweaty Bands, and so her little bio is the company logo, Sweaty Bands. That would be appropriate. I would not put my company's logo as my brand because I'm not the actual company. I'm the public figure, all right? The next thing you've got to think about is, who are you? How are people going to connect with you? What services do you provide? And what are people going to gain from following you? I'd be lying if I told you I got this right the first time. I think I've changed my bio, 50 to 100 times, constantly changing my bio to try to get it to be exactly who I want to speak to. And it's also changed as my business has grown. I haven't always been a podcaster, haven't always been at the top of my organization. So it is something that has evolved and changed. And you have 150 characters to do it in, so you've got to be quick. All right, so when you're creating this bio, ask yourself, who is your target customer? What's the age range? What are their interests? What kind of people do you want to attract? I attract people that are in their, mid-20s to, late 30s. I attract other moms that want to build a business. What sets me apart from the rest? Well, I'm a podcaster. I love training. That's something that I love to do. If you don't love training, you're kind of a free spirit, you love to travel, you're a business owner anywhere that you can have Wi-Fi, maybe that's gonna be your bio because you want to attract those free spirit people. I am gonna talk about it that I am a mom building a business from home, right? So you're gonna talk about the things that make you unique and different. Staying away from putting your company's name right in your bio. You really want to do that. Again, and you're going to hear more about curiosity marketing as you go out through the day today. So keep that in the back of your mind. You want people to be interested in you and want to ask more questions or want to click your little your info. We're going to talk about this link so they can learn more about you. Think about what makes you unique. So this is a simple exercise of honestly sitting down and writing out all the things about you that make you unique and different, and then cutting that down into your bio. And it's okay to delete and change it and delete as many times as you need to. The last two things on creating a bio are this. Some of you are a little guarded and you have a private Instagram account. Now, this is your business and people need to be able to find you. And if I type your name into Instagram and it's private, I'm not gonna follow you. I'm not gonna request to follow you. And especially as a business owner, you want people to be able to make that decision as to whether or not that you're their kind of person. So make your profile public. And then the second thing is switch it over to a business account. So if you just go into your settings on Instagram, there is a place that says this is a personal account or a business account, and you just change it over. Just a very simple click. It's kind of hard to find, but as soon as you click it, it'll change it to business. It doesn't cost anything at all, but now it gives you analytics. So you can see how many people engaged in your post, how many likes, how many comments. You can also see from that post how many people went to your profile. So they may have found you through an Instagram like hashtag, and now they're on your page, and you can tell and you can say, okay, this time of day was a great time of day. This kind of post did really well. All right, let me duplicate that again as I go through and create future content. All right. The other thing too is include your email address. I see a lot of people in their bio where they don't put a website link or they don't put their email. You want to give people a really easy place to just message you for more information, stick your email in there so they can contact you. All right, here's a couple of examples. Two people that I grabbed off of Instagram that I follow. Alex Beaton, she's somebody that she's an online business coach, and she's obsessed with Instagram stories. So when somebody recommended her to me, I went to her page, I read her bio. What I did was I was like, all right, I need to know more about Instagram stories. I think she's interesting. I didn't click follow yet, but what I did was I watched her stories. How many of you do that? Stories are really key. I know you're gonna learn more about that, but I watched her stories. I'm like, do I like her? Would I wanna connect with her? Read her bio, I'm like, well, what's this link? Let me check out this link. Click the link to see that it took me to her online courses. And then I looked at the top 9 photos, and we call that above the fold. You have those 9 photos to capture somebody's attention. And within that, probably 10 to 15 seconds, I decided she was my kind of girl. I needed some help on IG stories. I clicked the follow button. So this is what people are doing when they're coming to your page. The second example is it's a faith-based app. This She Works His Way actually inspires women that are business owners but really have a big priority on family but on faith. Her Instagram image is the logo of her company, very appropriate. Where is she directing people to? She's directing people to a link that I'm gonna talk a little bit more about as well as we move through this presentation. I look at the top 6 photos you can see there. If I was to click on those, they're all faith-based quotes, they're business advice, and they talk about family balance. I'm immediately able to say she is perfectly in line with the message and the person I want to interact with. I'm gonna click the follow button. So this is a good thing you can do, is take a step back and just give yourself an audit and analysis and say, am I in line with the message I want to send to other people? Is what I'm putting on my page going to attract the right people? All right, the last thing on the bio that I want to share with you is Linktree. Does anybody use Linktree? Couple of people? All right, so Linktree is awesome. because you only get one opportunity to put a link in your bio. And it says website when you're on there, creating your bio. Linktree actually allows you to put multiple links into your bio. So when I am creating content and I say to somebody, go to my bio to sign up for my time management webinar, now they can go to my bio, click it, that link, and it's gonna give them all the options of courses or trainings or ways that they can connect with me. So now I've given people one option to connect with me in multiple different ways. All right, so we're gonna move on. Let's talk a little bit about content. Now, when it comes to content, these are my rules. This is what, through research, through trial and error, that I have found to be really, really helpful for me. Now, everybody always asks me, how many times a day should I post on social media? Like, what's the number? Everybody wants me to give them a number. Is it 3 to 5? Is it 1 to 2? Right? I'm sure you guys are thinking that same thing. It's not about the number, but it's more about what can you commit to and what can you commit to on a consistent basis. So it's consistency over the frequency. So if you say to yourself, I work full time and I can only get on social 1 to 2 times a day and actually create good quality content, then that's what you're going to commit to. If you're a brand that says I can rock out 5 to 6, pieces of content, then that's going to be what you're going to do. But the biggest rule to remember is this: consistency over time is what is going to generate the trust and the credibility and keep people coming back for more. So that is so important. And I get in the habit of saying to myself, okay, what is the purpose of this content when I'm going to post it? So I'm always staying in line with my brand, and I'm asking myself this question: what is the content of this, or what is the purpose of this content? For example, it's my grandma's 90th birthday and we're going out for breakfast and we take a family photo. Would I put that on my Facebook page or would I put that on my Instagram page? I would not put it on my Instagram, right? It's not in line with my brand. It would go on my personal Facebook page. It's a personal piece of content. Unless I was gonna weave something business-like in there, that's where it's best served. When we go on a family vacation and I take all of these pictures of our family at the beach, I choose the best family photo or the best picture of that day. I turn it into a post that is content directed towards whatever my brand is, and I put that one photo on Instagram. The album goes on Facebook. All right, that's my rule of thumb. So the next thing is professional storyteller. That is essentially what we are. And Bob's talked a lot about just giving and giving to other people and making sure that you're adding value. And so the more that you can be vulnerable, the more that you can break those walls down, the more that through pictures you can tell a story, the more people are going to trust you and are going to invest in what you have to offer. I have spent a lot of time not only taking good photos, but becoming that storyteller. The Story Brand podcast is amazing. And there is also a book that goes along with that too that I highly recommend that you check out. But that has helped me to be better at crafting a story that allows people to really get to know me as an individual and not just a person with a lot of followers on Instagram. The next part is the same filter and flow. So if you love bright, vibrant colors, keep it bright and vibrant the whole way through your social media on Instagram. If you are gray tones or black and white, then keep it gray tones and black and white. Very visual, like our generation is very, very visual in what they put out there. If you're gonna do white borders on your photos, then do white borders on every single photo. So same flow, same look. I did a trial where I was like, okay, I see these people on Instagram that every third photo is a quote and it's in white. And it looks really cool. You guys know what I'm talking about, where all of a sudden down one side, you just have like these white. And I did it for about 2 weeks. And I'm like, I cannot do this. This is way too much thought to every single third photo have, a motivational quote. And so I stopped doing that. So don't stress yourself out. If you see somebody else's account that you really like, you don't have to do it that way. If you can commit to that strategy and you like it and it works for you, then do it. But anything goes as long as it's got a consistent flow. Clear call to action, which I'll elaborate a lot more throughout this presentation, but you always want to have a call to action. You want to tell people what you want them to do with what they're reading. So give them a call, whether it's go to your bio or drop a comment, or you're asking for feedback or a question. I always say you want people to not step back and say, okay, that was a great post, so what? You want them to leap into action. And then using appropriate hashtags. There is a right and a wrong way to use hashtags, and you always want to ask yourself, okay, what is in my photo that I can tag that is again in line with my brand? And we'll get into hashtags here at the end. All right, so this is my favorite part, and this is creating a content strategy. So I'm kind of dropping all of this information on you, but what I don't want to happen is for you to go out there and just start throwing darts at a dartboard and hoping that you're gonna hit the bullseye. I want you to say to yourself, and you can actually apply this to Facebook and Instagram, all right? So you wanna have a strategy to your content. So on Sundays, I do this over the whole month. I'll sit down and I'll say, okay, for the next 30 days, what do I want to achieve? What are my goals as far as, sales go, or new people that are joining my team, new clients enrolling in my programs? I always write that at the top of my paper. But then every single week, I have a planning session with myself. And I will sit down and say, all right, Melanie, what is your objective for the next 7 days? Is there a current service that you're marketing towards? Are you going to be launching a webinar and you have a goal of getting 500 people to be a part of that webinar? That is your objective. What service are you marketing towards? The webinar. Okay, now I get out a sheet of paper that on that same piece of paper, I list out all the different kinds of content that would drive people to click and sign up and register for that webinar. And I think about things that are going to help build trust, that are going to give me credibility, right? I think about things that are going to motivate people or inspire them to create change. Those are kind of the 4 things that I focus on with my content. And then I think about what is going to be the call to action with each one of those pieces of content. All right, so this is a visual. You could do this on a blank sheet of paper, but basically I took a time management webinar that I previously did, and your weekly objective would go right there at the top. So let's just say my goal is 500 people are going to sign up for this time management webinar, and it is going to be 2 weeks from today. And so this is me sitting down and saying, all right, the first thing I need to do is I need to launch the actual webinar. So I need to create an image that actually says, this is what it is. Here is, here's what it's about. I'm going to give people kind of, my philosophy behind time management. Maybe that's going to be the first post that I put out. Then maybe the next day I'm going to say, all right, like people need to know that I'm not perfect and I don't just, pop out of bed and have a perfectly managed life, that I struggled. So the next day I'm going to tell my story. And I'm going to talk about how it is that I was horrible at time management. And my husband gave me an ultimatum. And I was always connected to my phone. And I never felt like I had a start and end time in my life. And then I'm going to tell people how I got a hold of that. And I'm going to tell that story in my social media. And my call to action is going to direct them to my bio to fill out the registration for the webinar. Then the next day, maybe I'm going to say, all right, let me teach people that I actually know what I'm talking about. So now I'm going to give my top 5 time management tips. And so the act of sitting and thinking these things through allows me to not be constantly going, okay, it's Monday, what do I post? But to actually say to myself, all right, it's Sunday. This is what I want to do for the week. I'm dressed and ready for church. So maybe I'll just set some things up and take a few photos that I can save to my phone. And if the kids are playing video games, I could sit and actually write the content, save it in the notes section, and now I'm ready to go. So this allows you to be purposeful with your content so that you are hitting the mark every single time. All right. So you're asking yourself, what do you want to achieve for the week ahead? And it's what, Saturday? So we can all do this for next week. Make your to-do list, and it can look ugly. It can be on a piece of paper. It can be chicken scratch all over the place, but you just want to get your ideas in one place. And then at the end of the week, you're going to ask yourself, did I accomplish the goal that I set for myself? Did I get those 500 people that I wanted to join that webinar? If the answer is no, you didn't fail. You just learned a way that maybe didn't work perfectly, and you try again the next week, and you set yourself another goal. And it's this act of continually repeating this marketing calendar process that you find the system that works best for you. All right, the next part I want to talk about is actually the content where we are creating value and loyal followers. So again, I want to really drive this point home that it is better to have 1 to 2 high quality posts versus 8 to 10 low quality posts. And I will give you an example of what that actually means. It is also better to have likes from people that are actually in your niche versus just a mass number of likes. So there are companies out there, whether they are kosher or not, that allow you to get massive number of followers by signing up for a subscription service, and it'll send people direct messages. I do not use it, but I know a lot of people that do. Here's the thing. Oh, I will tell you an example. I decided that I was gonna have somebody do a sponsored ad for me, right? And so I gave them the content that I wanted them to put on their Instagram account, and they sold me the biggest line of BS ever. They were like, this is gonna get you 10,000 new followers, and we have like 5 different accounts with over 100,000 people. Literally every single person couldn't be further away from who I was, and I spent hours unfollowing people and you know, trying to get, because it wasn't real for me. It makes more sense to take the time and grow your business organically. So how do I do that? I engage with people in my posts. I'm always asking myself, what does my audience need? And what my audience needs is always what I need in the moment. If I am struggling to get out of bed in the morning, I talk about my miracle morning routine. I give 5 tips for getting out of bed. If I'm struggling with mindset, I share my favorite personal development book and what I took away from it, right? I'm always thinking about what my audience needs, and then I ask them for feedback. And every time somebody comments, I comment back. I actually learned that from Gary Vee. He talked about how he takes the time to sit and go through everybody's Instagram and comment back, because that shows that you care about the people that are interacting. And I did that when I had 5 followers, and I do it now when I have over 70,000 followers. I still do the same thing. And I try to interact back and not just say thank you, but try to make an appropriate comment back as well. Now, the other part of creating loyal followers is I can't just sit there and wait for people to come to me. I have to go out and find them too. So I block out about an hour every single day. Sometimes it is in 15-minute increments, and sometimes it's an hour at one time, where I will sit down and I will go searching for my people. And I'll go to the little search function on Instagram and I will type in hashtags. So, and we're going to talk about hashtags, but I will type in things like mom of boys. I'll also use the location tag. I'll put in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I'll type in brands. I love Lululemon, so I'll type in Lululemon. And I will go down through and I will look for people, and I'll do what I'm teaching you. I go to their bio. I assess whether or not there's somebody that I would like to be friends with. I'll go down through their top, 8 or 9 photos. I'll look at them. I'll open them. I'll read the text. I'll make an appropriate comment. I'll ask a question. Hey, where did you get your son's shirt at? We're getting family photos taken, and I love it. That's the perfect color scheme that I was looking for. And so now I'm trying to get people to engage back and forth with me. So I'm starting an actual conversation. I'll do that on about 3 photos, 3 different comments, and I'll follow them. And then I use Google Streak. If you use paper and pencil, you can do that too, but I'll put that person into my Google Streak. I'll put their Instagram handle, and I will say, 3 likes, 3 comments, and then I'm waiting for them to follow me back. And so now I've got them on my list, and I will try to do 20 to 30 of those a day. And I've gotten pretty good at it, but at first it felt weird. Some days I'd walk away and go, I didn't find anybody, because I had to practice at it until I got better. So this has helped me to grow my Instagram account with great people that I would want to have over for dinner. All right. And then the last thing, creating followers, is giving them a way to connect with you. So asking for their opinion. All right. So let's do a little bit of visual. I'm going to break this all down and show you what this actually looks like. So when you're looking at photos that you should or should not put on Instagram, here's a good example. So the photo with the green check mark is the purpose of this post was I was talking about a rewards trip that my husband and I had earned. And I was talking about in this post how we could never take a vacation before I became a part of this company. And I was talking about how it had been 5 years since we had gone away, just the two of us, and how excited we were for this trip that we had earned. And so I'm talking, and so this photo is a really great, engaging photo that was taken with our iPhone, just in a little waterproof case on portrait mode. So it's not like we walk around with the fancy cameras and all sorts of extras, simple, basic photography skills. So talked about the trip that we took. On the right, we're at dinner. We're at dinner with our team. We're all together. We're having a great time. That is not Instagram worthy. That is dark. It is grainy. It's a group photo. Nobody really knows who's in there. And honestly, most followers don't care who is sitting at the dinner table with you. But that would be a great picture to put in an album on my Facebook page. So this is an example of good versus bad quality. When I talk about visually appealing, I'm getting in the habit now. So when I first started my business, I would do my workout, and that's where I spend a lot of time taking photos in my basement that is dark and dingy. It has no natural light. And so when I first started, I brought in like table lamps. And so I had like 4 table lamps just outside of, my picture screen, and I would prop my iPhone up, and then I would run back to where I wanted to take the photo. I hit the 10-second timer and get into the position. And so now we have a lot more tools. So I would tell you to invest in a tripod. Amazon has great tripods, and they even have bendy ones that you can like stick over the door. I have a wireless Bluetooth remote. Again, I think it was under $10. And then I invested in natural light bulbs. They're just called natural white lights. So wherever you are going to be taking photos, that's an easy thing to do. I have a Lumi light. It's called a Lumi light. It goes on your phone. It's a phone case. So if you are out with friends and you have bad lighting, so for example, if you were trying to take a picture with your friend here in the back, it's really dark. You would get a dark, grainy photo. But if you turn that Lumi light on, it would be like you had natural light. I also have a ring light. Those are my tools of the trade: my iPhone, portrait mode, my Lumi light, my selfie stick, and my timer. And that is how I get all of the photos that I take. Does it take practice? Do I sometimes take 10 or 15 photos till I get the right one? Absolutely, absolutely. But it's well worth it. So you want to try to get your post to stop the scroll, and just ask yourself this: is it boring, or is it going to catch people's attention in the process? All right, let's just give you some examples. So this one actually blew my mind with the amount of engagement that it got. So you know how I said, like, your posts want to be engagement, you want to teach people something, you want to inspire them or motivate them. There are times that my content, the purpose of my content is sheer engagement. So this post, I'm actually talking about a rewards trip that I earned from our company. My company also is health and fitness, so I'm kind of showing off the results from the program that I'm doing, but I'm more of a modest person. So that really comes through in this photo, in this collage, because I got all one pieces on. But I'm asking people for their input. I'm like, which suit do you like, A, B, C, or D? So I worked in the fact that it was a business post, that I was earning this trip with my husband. I asked people for a decision, right? Tell me what you liked. And then I showed off my results. So that was the purpose. And I propped my little tripod up on my bathroom counter with my little remote, because it's like positioned so quietly behind my back there. And I took these photos. And this one got over 2,000 likes and over 2,000 comments. Guys, people want to give you their opinion. Ask them any kind of parenting advice, and they're all in, right? I did one time, I'm like, hey, what are the best apps to help teach your kids their ABCs? And I was like, whoa, people don't like apps. They really want you to sit down and teach. And not that I don't do that, but they were real quick to give their advice. And so sometimes you just have to be like, okay, this is an engagement post. I'm going to take it with a grain of salt, right? So this is a great type of post. I would definitely do something where you are asking people to vote, and then kind of tie that into your business. The second kind is let people get to know you. So I've grown a huge following. I'm always like buttoned up in my professional pants, is what my friends say. I'm making videos, I'm doing trainings, but I want people to also know that, like, I got a great relationship with my husband, and we work out together, and we have a lot of fun. And so this post, I'm actually talking about mindset, and I'm talking about how sometimes it's hard to get in your workout. And so I'm talking about kind of a deeper topic, but I stopped the scroll with a good photo that will catch people's attention. All right. And this, again, I've taken it with the selfie, the timer in the basement with our little ring light. All right. The next kind of post is tell your story. So I always try to tell my story every 9 photos. So no matter what your background is or what your business is, you want to show people the progression as you're progressing along in your company, whether it's advancement, whether it is mindset, whether it is financial. You always want to be relating back to the old you. And why do I say every 9 photos? Because when somebody new comes to your profile, they're going to make a decision about you in the first 9 photos. So I try to catch their attention because they're seeing this nice bio photo. They're seeing that I have a large number of followers, and they're probably assuming that I'm some fake person. And I want to come in and say like, hey, I struggled with my weight. I struggled with mindset. I wasn't always fit, right? I didn't always have a positive personality, but this is who I was, and this is how I became who I am. And so I tell it every 9 posts, but I try to relate to different points. I may talk about the mindset one post. I may talk about the physical transformation in another post. But this is really important that you beat that dead horse all the time, over and over. You tell your story because you're going to be gaining new followers along the way. All right, it's going to resonate with people at different points in time. All right, education and tips. This is the best. If people know that you are going to give value for free and they don't have to pay for it, they're going to follow you. So that's my favorite way to gain loyal customers, is by telling them all the things that work for me. Everything down to my favorite recipes, snack ideas, tips when I travel, personal development. Now, I could have grabbed a photo off of Amazon of the Judgment Detox book, and I could have popped that up there on my profile. But that's not going to stop somebody's scroll. But hey, cup of coffee, book, background is a beach, perfect. Somebody's going to stop and read that. Now, you may not be at the beach, but I've done this like in my living room, right? Where I've styled it on my kitchen table. But the point is, I gave people advice on what I am currently reading, but I related to my audience, because I bet your audience is just like you. I know I didn't do personal development 7 years ago. I kind of laughed at it. I thought it was stupid. I had to go the first 12 months of my business without reading a personal development book. And I wasn't having a lot of success right off the bat. And I tell that story because what does it do? It's breaking down the wall. And then I'm giving people advice of where they can go and find that book. All right. The last thing in this section is including that call to action. So I just gave you, I'm going to give you an example what it actually looks like. So I talk about helping other people virtually, lifting them up, people that need encouragement, right? And I talk about how there's no greater joy in my job than seeing my clients have breakthroughs in their journey. I talk about that this can be the start of their journey too. What's the call to action? Go to my bio to fill out an application for more information. That's all it needs to be. It can be very simple, but you want people to, when they get to the end of that post, if they're having an emotional connection to you, is you want to say, go to my bio now, fill this out, drop your email below, leave me a comment, because you want them to immediately, on that emotional moment, take action on your post. So don't be afraid to do it every single time you create content that is acceptable. All right. Last thing we're going to talk about is hashtags. So I said at the beginning, I didn't get hashtags at the beginning, and I was just kind of winging it. But I said to myself, all right, Melanie, you've got to use these appropriately. You know, you can find people and they can find you through hashtags. So what is going to be the best ones for you? I gave you a generic list. This doesn't mean this should also be your list. So ask yourself, what are your favorite brands that you wear? Are you a Target shopper? Are you a Walmart shopper? Are you a Nordstrom's shopper? Are you a home goods person? Are you Pottery Barn? You know, think about where do you know, what kind of makeup do you wear? Your kids' clothes. Think about the things that are going to be in your photo, the location, some of the words that you use. So I just put a few on here that can kind of get you started. A big one is if you're pregnant, 12 weeks pregnant. That's a great one. Women search that hashtag all the time. And who do you find? You find another tribe of women that are the same week that you are in their pregnancy. Postpartum journey. You can find other people, the teachers, you know, boy mom, mom of multiples, you know, fit after 40. I'm just kind of riffing ideas, but think about where are you at in life? You want to connect with people your age. So, and I usually, when I'm hashtagging my photo, I just stand there and look at what I have on, and that's usually what I hashtag, and then a couple of things about me. I stick to about 5 to 10 is what I tend to use right in my posts. Okay, now another great thing is at the beginning when I talked about, or while you're coming up with your post ideas or your tags, if you say to yourself, I'm not sure what else would kind of go with these hashtags, like you're just getting started, go to the search function, type in a hashtag. You could type in mom of boys, which is what I did, and then look, related tags underneath are gonna come up. Boy mom life, boy moms rock, boy moms only, right? It's gonna give you a whole list. And now what can you do? You can go down through and you can search those other ones for people like you, or you can use them in your future posts that you're going to create. And then there's also another way where it says joy filled. I search that hashtag, and then underneath it has like path of purpose and a couple of other ideas that are related to that I put in there. So related tags are also a great way for you to grow that understanding. All right, this is another tip for you, tagging photos. So we talked about hashtags, but tagging photos is actually a little bit different. When you're creating your content, there is a place that says tag people, but it's not just people. You can tag other accounts. So I'm wearing a shirt from Live Love Shop. It's an online shop. So I tagged the shirt, I tagged the Instagram account in that post, and I tagged Home Goods because my mug is from Home Goods. Now what happened is once I posted this, Live Love Shop reached out to me and said, hey, that's a really good post. Can we feature you on our Instagram account? I was like, yes. Now all their followers are gonna see me and they tagged me in it. So every single time you wear something, tag the stinking brand in it, right? You know, if you love a certain brand of makeup, tag the brand of makeup. If you love a certain shoe, tag the shoe, right? So just get in the habit of tagging because you never know who could come upon that photo and ask to use it. It's happened to me with Calia. Calia by Carrie Underwood. They must have somebody that does their Instagram account, and I've gotten featured on their website before. Same thing with Love Your Melon. They're always looking for Instagram influencers that buy their hats and that they can feature. So the more you tag other brands, the more likely it is that you're going to have some cross support happening there. All right. So last part is tagging photos with the location. Now, everywhere you go, tag the location. You're in Orlando, every single photo you post should say, have Orlando as your tag. All right, when you go home after this weekend and you wanna post a picture of this weekend, tag it in Orlando. I don't care if you're in Wisconsin, tag Orlando. That's where you were when the photo was taken. I do the same thing. I was in Mexico last week, and every time I post a photo, I'm gonna tag Mexico. Why? Because somebody that's traveling to Mexico next month may search that same hashtag or that resort, because I know when I was going to the resort, I searched the Unico, and then I saw everybody that had gone there before me. So now it's a way for me to connect with people that have been where I'm at. Or it's also a great way for you to build a local following. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania is where I'm from. I will hashtag Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania all the time, and I find people in my surrounding area that would like to do what I do all the time. So that's a great tip for you as well. All right, so in closing, because I know I've given you a lot of information, and it's so easy to kind of say, I'm just gonna fold this up and put it aside, or to get overwhelmed and not know where to start. And so here is my suggestion for you. Growth takes time. It's taken me 7 years to get the Instagram following that I've got. Please don't be discouraged by where somebody else is, because you are on your own journey. Be patient, it takes time. Set a goal for yourself, 50 followers by the end of next week. Set a goal, right? 50 real followers, and then track it. Make your marketing plan and start to say to yourself, all right, I'm gonna work on my bio. I'm gonna create my marketing plan. At the end of next week, I'm gonna evaluate. Did I get 50 new followers? Yes? Perfect, let's up it to 75. And so then you just keep raising your own bar so that you are leveling up and growing that following. And the bottom line is this: take your time. It's better to have great quality content that is visually appealing than to throw something out there just to check off a box and say, I got it done. So take your time. Quality and consistency is key. All right. Hope this was helpful. Thanks so much for having me here today, and enjoy.
I've been drowning, I've been searching, can someone heal my soul?